In episode 8, both Lucienne and Dreams are pretty surprised that Rose Walker is standing in front of them. But they also battle on whether or not she should stay. Lucienne doesn't think she belongs there, but Dreams wants her to stay and wants to kind of keep a close eye on her. He explains to her that she's in the dream realm, which means she's currently sleeping. He also explains to her that she's a dream vortex. Once every few thousand years, a mortal is born with a dreaming ability so powerful, she can travel through the dreams of others. That's probably how she got to his throne room. And he tells her, if you can find me through the dreaming, you can find your brother. But he's pretty sure that Jed is with Galt, one of his missing nightmares. Rose isn't quite sure on how to dream hop, and Morpheus tells her, for now, just keep looking for your brother in the waking world. Matthew is going to watch over you. And when he's with you, I'm with you. Then tonight, when you sleep, you and I will go and search for the missing dream Galt and your brother together. And at the moment, Galt has him hidden in their old childhood home. Since she's a shapeshifter, she's shapeshifted into the body of their mother. And she's got Jed pretending to be a superhero, ironically enough called the Sandman. Think of her as kind of his Alfred to Batman. She's not doing him any harm whatsoever. She's making him feel good about himself. And that's because in reality, his life sucks. He's banished to the basement in Barnaby and Clarice's house where he sleeps around rats. But the good news for Jed is Rose is now on the case. And with the help of Dreams, at least she has a little bit of a lead. When she wakes up that morning, she calls up Unity, gives her an update on what's going on, and tells her, I'm going to stay here a little bit longer and continue to search for my brother. Unity is more than okay with that. But then Rose hears a voice in the background, and it sounds like Unity is hosting company. And Unity tells Rose, believe it or not, a journalist is here and wants to talk to me about the sleep sickness. But it's not a journalist. It's Corinthian. And as soon as Rose gets off the phone with Unity, he's able to find out through Unity that Rose is currently in Florida. And the fact that a journalist would want to speak to Unity Kincaid is very understandable. Because as Morpheus and Lucienne are doing some research as to why Galt would target Jed and not Rose, they find out that Unity Kincaid was literally the only person to survive this sleepy sickness. And she just so happened to wake up the moment that Morpheus escaped the basement. Back with Rose, she follows Morpheus's edict and decides to keep looking for her brother. One of the ways she's going to do that is she's simply going to put up missing posters. Everybody at the B&B is really supportive of this. They all take a bunch of posters and plan on putting them up themselves. Meanwhile, Rose and Hal canvass the area putting them up, while Lyda heads to social services to see if she can get any information, because the first time they went there, Rose was a little rude. And Lyda does have some luck. Not at getting any information on where Jed is, but at the very least, getting the woman to do a check-in on Jed to make sure he's okay. As she heads over to Jed's current whereabouts, Rose and Hal got better acquainted. She tells Hal that when her mom got a job in New Jersey, her dad cut off all ties. No more alimony, no more child support, and they couldn't even talk to Jed. She really beats herself up over the fact that it took this long for her to try to find her brother. In turn, Hal fills her in on his life story. He moved to New York looking to become a big Broadway actor. He was planning on then moving into film and television, but he found out that that was pretty hard to do. So when his grandmother died and left him the house, he decided to move back to Cape Kennedy and open it up as a B&B. But while they get acquainted, they have no idea that the Corinthian is following them. Not acting just yet, but keeping tabs on him. So is Matthew, though. And when Rose spots him, she walks over, and she can't believe that he's real. He just reassures her that that night when she sleeps, her and Morpheus will go searching for her brother, and that if she needs him, he's going to be around. But while her and the whole B&B are looking for Jed, Jed is getting a visit from the woman from social services. Barnaby was none too pleased when the woman called up scheduling a visit. He wanted to cancel it, but his wife convinced him that that would look really fishy. What it boils down to is the fact that Barnaby doesn't want to lose the $800 a month that comes with taking care of Jed. But he also loathes Jed. So right before the visit, he told him that he better be on his best behavior or else he'll break every bone in his body. When the woman finally does visit, it looks as if it's one big happy family. They try to send Jed off to his room so they can talk about more adult things that would bore the hell out of a child. But right before he does, he gives the woman a giant hug, but he slips her a note in her purse. The problem is she never gets it because Barnaby and Clarice saw it. And before she left, they grabbed it back. And the note simply said, "Please help me." Because of it, Barnaby ends up punishing Jed by beating on him. So Rose can't find Jed soon enough. But after canvassing the area the entire day, she has no more leads. Nobody's called. When she gets back to the B&B, she ends up telling Hal, I kind of like it here. Maybe I'll move back. And he can't figure out why. And she tells him that she was kind of inspired by his story about going to New York and coming back. She had dreams of going to grad school and becoming a writer, but his life seems pretty good here. And that's when he tells her about the reality of the situation. He hates it there. He loves his tenants, but it's not like this is what he dreamed of, cleaning up after Barbie and Ken. And if Broadway called tomorrow, he would leave and he would never think about these people ever again. He then implores her to go to grad school and become a writer. Do what she originally dreamed of. She then heads upstairs, turns in for the night, and within about 5 minutes, she is knocked out and she's in the dream world. The first person's dream she enters is Hal's, although that dream quickly turns into a nightmare. She runs out of that and runs right into Lyda's dream. And that's really awkward because Lyda is having sex with her dead husband. She decides to give those two a little bit of privacy. And she walks into Chantel's dream, where she sees Morpheus. So she follows him outside into either Barbie or Ken's dream, one or the other. And he explains to her that she's drawing the dreams of others to her. She needs to be careful not to lose herself into them, but by doing this, she will find Jed. She then notices one of her missing posters. The words are all jumbled on it, but she follows it, and she's transported to another world. There's a woman named Miss Barbara talking about the journey of the porpentine. There's this weird animal that looks like it's out of Narnia. And that's when Dream explains that a dream vortex has the ability to dream of some worlds or destroy others. They keep walking through this world and they end up in a graveyard. And that's when they realize that they are in Zelda's dream. Although Zelda is a little girl. And Morpheus explains, we're in here because Zelda feels comfortable in this graveyard. So where did you guys feel comfortable when you were a child? And that's when it dawns on Rose, we felt comfortable in our own childhood home. So that's where they head next. But when they arrive there, Galt sees them on the security camera footage, and she knows the jig is up. She knows that Morpheus probably isn't there for Jed, Morpheus is there for her, not realizing that Morpheus and Rose are there for them both. She tries to protect Jed by telling him not to go out, but she's made him think he's a superhero all this time, so he does it anyway. He tries to stick up to the Sandman, but Galt touches Jed on the shoulder and says, he's not here for you, he's here for me. Rose is shocked because standing in front of her is her mother. She doesn't realize that it's actually not. And Morpheus has to stop her and say, that's not your mother. Jed then realizes that the girl next to Morpheus is his sister, and he runs up and gives her a giant hug. Rose starts imploring Jed to tell her where he's going to be when he wakes up, explaining that all of this is a dream. As she's doing that, Morpheus is making Galt show her true identity. The only information, though, that Jed gives her is the name Barnaby, Clarice, and the fact that they're in, quote, homeland. Other than that, the dream has to end. They need to wake up. And it's unfortunate for Rose because she didn't want to wake up. She didn't get the answer she was looking for. She's not the only one that doesn't want to wake up, though. Lyda definitely doesn't want to wake up. She's really enjoying her time with her husband. I mean, the sex and all that is cool. But then suddenly she realizes in her dream world that she's pregnant with a baby. The most shocking thing, though, is that when she wakes up, she actually is pregnant. Just like Unity Kincaid. It transferred over from the dream world to the real one. She would like to go help out Rose because, doing a quick Google search, Rose was able to find a Barnaby and a Clarice who lived in Homeland. So she has the address, but the shock of actually being like 3 months pregnant is a little much for her at the time, so she stays back at the B&B. So Rose heads there by herself. But when she gets there, the police have taped off the location and they're taking out bodies. Right away, Rose starts panicking, thinking that Jed is one of those bodies, and when she asks a police officer, the cop tells her that no little boy was in the room. It's just a man and a woman. Rose is unaware of the fact that the Corinthian visited the social services worker, killed her, found out the location of Jed, went to the house, killed Barnaby and Clarice, and told Jed, your sister sent me. Come with me. So Jed is with the Corinthian. And even though he's being really nice to Jed, he's not safe. And that was Galt's big fear. When she gets back to the dream realm, her and Morpheus start arguing about the fact that he demanded she come back home. She was trying to explain to Morpheus that this boy's life was terrible, So she tried to give him an escape, a good one. But as Morpheus points out, that's not your purpose. Galt makes the case that her purpose can change, but Morpheus doesn't agree with it, and he is the boss. Galt gets a little too mouthy with Morpheus, and he banishes her to a few thousand years in the darkness. As soon as Galt is out of the room, Morpheus knows that Lucienne felt the punishment was a little unjust. And in fact, Lucienne does, but she tries to explain to Morpheus that before he made her the librarian, she was something else. And the fact is, everybody changes. Morpheus looks at her and says, I realize that in my absence, you were the one making decisions here, and trust me, I am grateful to you. But I'm back now, so you may return to the library. And that is a giant slap in the face to Lucienne. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.